Here's our very first lesson, how to make a classic sponge cake. Let's start by looking at equipment, as this is what will make or break your first attempt. First stop, the right size tins. These are crucial. For sponge cakes, they need to be 18 centimetres by 4 centimetres. The next thing you need to do is line the tins. These linings work like magic. They're reusable and rinse in moments under the tap. There's another crucial piece of equipment here, and that's weighing scales. These electronic scales are very lightweight and inexpensive. Pop a bowl on, press to get back to 0, and you get the correct weight of the ingredient. Next, you need a large roomy mixing bowl because cakes need plenty of air. This lightweight bowl won't chip or break, and it's very easy to handle. We'll also need a sieve for flour, an electric hand whisk which will make very light work of it all, although a wooden spoon is okay if you're willing to use a bit of energy. Here we've got a rubber spatula for getting out the last scrap of mixture, a tablespoon, a teaspoon, a palette knife for spreading, and a sharp knife to cut the cake. Finally, 2 wire racks for cooling and an icing sugar shaker. Now for the ingredients. 2 large eggs, 115 grams of golden caster sugar, 115 grams of self-raising flour, 115 grams of spreadable butter, a level teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So, off we go. Begin by preheating the oven to 170 degrees, which is gas mark 3. This is self-raising flour measured into a sieve. Then add a level teaspoon of baking powder. Hold the sieve up high and tap it, so as the flour falls into the bowl, it gets a good airing, because air is important in cake making. After that, add the spreadable butter, which you can use straight from the fridge. Next, add golden caster sugar, followed by 2 large eggs, and finally 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Before you start mixing with an electric hand whisk, put a cloth underneath the bowl to steady it. Give it about 1 minute, moving the whisk around to incorporate the air. What you should end up with is a mixture that just drops off the spoon. Now lightly grease the tins with a little butter and add the liners. Then divide the mixture between the 2 tins as evenly as possible and spread it out using the back of a tablespoon. Now, place the tins near the centre of the oven. The timing here is going to be about 25 to 30 minutes, and don't forget to use a timer because guessing it is never a good idea. One important point to remember is not to open the oven door until the cake is 3/4 cooked, because the temperature will drop and the cake might sink. After 25 minutes, slide the shelf out a little bit and apply a gentle pressure with your little finger. If the sponge springs back immediately, it's cooked. If it leaves a print of your finger, then whack it back for another 5 minutes. Check the cakes again, then remove them from the oven, and after 30 seconds, turn them out onto a wire cooling rack. To do this, slide a palette knife round the edges and turn each cake out. After that, carefully peel back the lining papers. Then place another wire rack lightly on top and turn both of them the right way up. When they're completely cold, it's time to put a filling in. Transfer the cakes to a plate or a stand and use the base of the cake tin to help you. We're starting here with a jam filling, so use the back of a tablespoon or a palette knife to spread over 3 tablespoons. It's important that the proportion of jam to the sponge is correct. Then place the other sponge cake on top and sift some icing sugar all over. Use a gentle sawing motion and carefully cut the cake to get a nice clean slice. Just follow these simple steps and you'll always be able to whip up a perfect sponge cake in no time at all. And if you need to learn more about some of the techniques in this lesson, click on our extra lesson videos to the right of the screen.